Alright, I'm going to show y'all how to make, it's an anti-itch balm, and what I've called it, the name of my youngest youngin, my youngest boy, his name is Colt, and this is the reason I came up with this formula for this balm. So I call it Colt's Skin Relief Balm, but I have it all written down right here, and then I've added some things to make it even better. So what happened was, my youngin, I still don't know really what's going on with him. I do and I don't. But he developed a rash. First he got a Herbal patch, which some of y'all will be familiar with, and then some of you won't. What you're not familiar with, I'm just going to ask you to look it up because it takes too long to go into detail. So anyway, he developed this Herbal patch, and then within a couple of weeks later, a rash broke out along his chest and back. And it lasted for a couple of weeks and went away, but it wasn't too itchy. And then after about 3 weeks to a month, this new rash appears on the upper parts of his arm and the upper parts of his legs. And then it makes a rash down to his hands and down to his feet. So I had got to really looking into it, and it's called pityriasis rosea. And that's a very hard thing for a youngin to have, especially an autistic youngin. But he's been going through it really well. He's been handling it really well. So I went through the process of really not knowing what it was at first. I had to do a lot of research, and then I remembered the Herbal patch from months ago, and I was giving him oatmeal baths and stuff like that to bring relief to his skin. So now he's doing a lot better. But this is a balm that I put together. I had pulled Yahweh, our creator, and asked him to please help me make, give me a formula for a soothing balm to apply upon his skin that helps to, heal the skin and also bring relief from itching. And it really is wonderful. It feels so wonderful. It's not greasy at all. It goes on so smooth. So I wanted to share that with y'all and show you actually how to make it. So I'm going to jump right into it. Now most people, and I would advise you to, if you have not made this before, to definitely use a scale. Alright, a scale is a must-have when you're first starting, especially when you're just beginning to make your own salves and balms and anything like that. You really need a scale, because you need to weigh out, what the fixings call for, or the formula, or the recipe, whatever you want to holler at it. I'm going to go over the ingredients with you right quick, and then we'll get started on making it. Okay? So, one of the ingredients is beeswax. I never get the white beeswax. I don't want the color taken out of it, or, the natural smell of honey or anything. I don't want it filtered as that goes. So, I don't use white beeswax. I always use the yellow. So, this is the one I get. Right now, I've got some beeswax blocks from a fella out of Tennessee, and I haven't got to those yet because I had this really big bag, and I want to go ahead and use these pellets before I get to the blocks and have to shave them down. So you're going to need some beeswax. I recommend yellow beeswax, okay? And then you're going to also have to have infused your own oils. You're going to have infused some lavender and plantain oil, and also some lemon balm infused oil. This is lemon balm infused in coconut oil, okay? And this is lavender and plantain that has been infused in sun flower oil, okay? And then you're going to need some aloe vera butter. If you've never heard of aloe vera butter, and I hadn't, I've always heard of aloe vera, and I've always heard of shea butter, but I never heard of aloe vera butter. This is wonderful stuff. All it is aloe vera that has been infused or combined, if you will, with shea butter. And you'll actually get to see what it looks like. Now, I'm not associated with any of these companies I'm showing you. So these are the ones I have on hand, or the ones I use if I don't make my own. So I get this from Halal Every Day. Right there. I am not associated with none of these companies, all right? This is what I use. I love their aloe vera butter, and I also love their shea butter. This is the shea butter I get from them. It's organic, raw, unrefined, filtered ivory shea butter, grade A. And they have really, really great prices on their products. Okay, so that's the shea butter we're going to use, and I'll take the lid off and show you, and I'll also show you the aloe vera butter. We're also going to be adding some vitamin E, pure vitamin E, okay, not a blend. Vitamin E oil. This is the one I use. And then also your essential oils. We're going to be using peppermint, lavender, and tea tree. So that's your ingredients right there. Okay, we're going to get started. If y'all know anything about using a scale, you know you have to turn it on. Okay, it's already been tared. Normally, if you hadn't, you know, if you just took this off and say it was off, it was turned off. It'll go off in just a second. Okay, say you turn it on and then you put your measuring cup down. You see that number? You've got to tare that. You want it to be at 0. So you hit tare, and then it is at 0, and I'm doing this in ounces, okay? So I have this 16 ounce, which is, you know, it can actually go more than that, but 16 ounce glass measuring cup. You want to do this in glass. Now, you're going to do this in basically equal parts of the aloe vera butter, the shea butter, and the infused oils, okay? So I've done and did all my math and all this and that, and I come down here, and it's equal parts. It's 3 ounces of the infused lemon balm, 3 ounces of the anti-itch, which is the lavender and plantain infused oil, 3 ounces of the aloe vera butter, and 3 ounces of the shea butter. So that's what we're going to take care of first. All right, now we're going to add 3 ounces of our lavender and plantain infused oil. And if you go over a little bit, don't worry about it. It's nothing to fret over. And one more thing, you can keep adding this until you get to the ounces of what you're going to have in your measuring cup. Or the smart thing is to go ahead and tare it. So it'll come back to 0. So you get exactly 3 ounces. I'll hold this up here and I'll just go ahead and pour. And you want to slow down when you start getting close to it. Okay, almost there. Oh, perfect. Okay. Now this can get quite messy. When I say messy, I don't mean like bad messy. I just mean like when you're messing with oils, they're oily. So this is the aloe vera butter, and it come in that package right there. I've actually got another container I'm going to put it in. I had ordered some in, I think this is 2 pounds. 2 pounds. Yeah, a 2-pound jar before. And I've already used that up. So I'm going to actually take a lot of this and put it back into this jar, this canister that they sent. So I have that to just gather it out of. But you can keep it in the, you know, container or plastic or whatever you want to call it that it comes in, and just fold it up really, really, you know, tight, and then put it back in the Mylar bag to keep it that way. But since I've already got it out, in a little while I'll go ahead and just transfer it into that canister. So we're now going to get 3 ounces of this and put it into our cup. Now if you come up here and look, you can see that there are 6 ounces of oils in there already. Now, at this time, you can measure it out, and, you know, I probably will, but I can basically eye it because I've made this a couple of times, but we'll just go ahead and do it by the scale for y'all. So we're going to get 3 ounces of this, and all we're going to do is drop chunks of it in there, a little at a time, and get the measurement of 3 ounces. All right, you see it's a little over 3 ounces. That is actually all right. It doesn't bother me. But because if you want to get it exact, you can just actually take a little bit of one of these off until it averages around 3 ounces. That doesn't bother me, so I'm going to leave it at that. Here is their shea butter. I don't have the best of lighting in here right now, but there's the color of it. It is so nice and soft. Shea butter is a wonderful moisturizer for the skin in all skin conditions. So we're going to get 3 ounces of that, and we're just going to drop it off in chunks in here until it measures 3 ounces. All right, we've got our 3 ounces of shea butter. Now the cup looks very full, but this will melt down. Okay? So now we're going to take this and we're going to go ahead and put it on the heat. Alright, it's basically a double boiler system set up. It's just a pot here. I've got the pot about halfway full of water. I try to start off with warm water so it doesn't take quite as long. And that is just something off the burner that you see smoking. It does that. I'll just turn the fan on here. Sometimes when I'm cooking, stuff spills over. You know, it happens. There we go. So anyway, you're just going to melt this down. You're going to wait till all your oils here, or your butters and your oils melt down and, you know, and basically become one liquid. And then once that happens, we will add the 2 ounces of beeswax. Now, I've done this before without the beeswax, and I was thinking with the shea butter and aloe vera butter that it would probably thicken up into more of a balm consistency like I like, but it didn't. It was a pure salve consistency. So the last batch I made, I added 2 ounces of beeswax to it and made it absolutely perfect to work with. So we're going to let this warm down, or warm up rather, and melt down and incorporate into one, you know, one liquid form. And then we'll add our beeswax to help solidify it that much more. And plus, beeswax adds its own remedial properties to it. So that's a wonderful thing. Alright, it's been a few minutes, and you don't ever want to have your water where it's boiling, okay? I've got it between a low and a medium heat over there on the stove, and already it's probably been about not quite 10 minutes. Well, right at 10 minutes probably. And I've got, it's already almost melted down. I'm going to actually turn it down a little bit more. And you can, honestly, if you want to, you can put like a rag on the bottom of this pot and then set your measuring cup on top of it. You don't have to do that, but you can do that if you want to, if you're kind of scared of the heat on the bottom of the glass. But you do want to stir it right often. That way you can see how much more and how much longer you have to go of making, you know, whatever needs melting. There's just a few little pieces, a few little chunks that looks like of aloe vera butter. The shea butter melts pretty quick, but the aloe vera butter, it takes a little while. So I don't think I told you, the first thing I had put in this was the lemon balm infused coconut oil. That was the first thing you saw on the bottom of this little container that was green. And then I had poured in the lavender plantain infused oil after that. And then of course you saw me add the aloe vera butter and then the shea butter. So it's to the point now where there might be a little chunk floating around of aloe vera butter. So we're going to go ahead and add our 2 ounces of beeswax. So let me kind of pour this away from here. Like I said, do not let this water boil, because you do not want any water popping up into your oils here. Okay? Your oils and your butter. Okay, I love to use these little ramekins. I absolutely adore these little ramekins. And we're going to go ahead and turn our scale back on. Okay. And we're going to put a little ramekin down there. And it's going to show the weight of the ramekin. Hit tear. And you're back at 0. Now we're going to pour our beeswax in here until we get to 2 ounces. I'm not really going to show me doing that because I actually need 2 hands with that bigger bag, or else I'll make a mess. Alright, there is our 2 ounces of beeswax. It's just a little over, but 2 ounces. And we're going to take our beeswax now, and we're just going to slowly and easily pour it into our oil. I'm going to do this off camera, so again, I don't make a mess. Alright, we've got our beeswax poured in there. And this steam, I know, is kind of making the picture a little foggy. And when you stir it, you'll see all the little pellets come to the top. Overlook that skillet back there. That's the little skillet. I had to pour some old oil in, and there was some popcorn laying around. I just put it in there so I can just dump it out at the same time. So if you wonder what's behind me in that little tiny skillet, that's what it is. I've just got to go clean it. Because see, these are my other skillets. Nice, clean. That is a little pot I made some fries in last night for supper. So, and then I'm using this jar. I actually emptied all of my lemon balm infused coconut oil. So now I've got to make another batch. But I'm using the jar to actually store this little spatula in it after I get through stirring, because you don't want to leave your spatula in here because it can develop condensation on top of the handle from the steam that can get into your oils. So don't leave anything in there. Just get you something and plop it down in there. Okay, so we're gonna let that melt down. Now once that melts down, we're gonna take this off or out of the pot. We're going to turn the burner off, take it out of the pot, and then we're going to start adding our vitamin E and our essential oils. But you've got to let it cool down some. You do not want to let it, you don't want to put all that in there when it's really, really hot. So I'll bring you back when our beeswax has completely melted. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's not going to take long at all. And you can see the pellets look like they're turning white already. Well, they are, because the pellets, they were naturally that beautiful yellow color, and you don't want that filtered out of your remedies. You need that because it's important that you get every aspect of the beeswax you can. If you ever watch a bee work and you watch him, go from flower to flower, it's a beautiful thing. And you look at his little old legs, and they're covered in pollen, little pollen bumps or pollen pods on his legs. I've actually showed that in one of my last videos. That's a remedy within itself. You don't want that filtered out of your own remedies, okay? Alright, we are now back. I done turned the heat off. It is completely melted in there. There's no more beeswax floating around. Sorry about that. The steam just kind of fogged you up. Alright, so right now we're going to take our spatula out. Now this is a small spatula. I'm filming up close so y'all can see like the greater details of everything. So we're going to go ahead and get all the yummy oils and butters off of there. There you go. We're going to drop it back in our glass. Now here is a tip. When you get this out, it's going to be hot, so you're going to have to be careful that you also don't spill it. So I'm not going to show you how I do this. I'm going to tell you how I do this. I'm going to take one of my crocheted rags here. I use it for all kinds of things. But anyway, I'm going to take it and I'm going to grab the handle here with it. And I'm going to take my other hand and just easily put it on this to balance this. And then I'm going to take another rag or paper towel or anything and wipe the bottom of your container, because you're going to have all that water on the bottom of your container, and you're going to want that to wipe that off, because you're not going to want that to come up and pour into your container that you're going to put this in and get water in there and take the chance of it spoiling. Okay, you do not want water in this at all, in your balms or your salves. It can cause spoilage really quick. So we're going to pick it up with my crocheted rag right there. I'm going to hold it with my other hand right here, because it's not too hot right there. And then I'm going to take like a rag or a towel, and I'm going to wipe the bottom of it, all the water off of the bottom and all around the top part here in the middle, to get the water off. That's just a tip that you need to know. Alright, I've got it over here at my other counter, because I've got more room over here, because I got a lot of tinctures and over yonder on the other part. So I've got it sitting on top of one of my other crocheted rags, kind of, because it's kind of like a hot pad. You don't really want to stick it down directly onto anything it could harm as far as the heat goes. So we're going to let this get cool down some And right now it is very hot to the touch. And if you don't want to put any of your oils, essential oils, into that because it could evaporate them. So we're going to let this cool down. And if you have a temperature gun, which I've got one, I think it's around 130, between 120 and 130, that you can add your essential oils. Don't quote me on that. Look that up for yourself. Where it's cool enough to add them, because you don't want it to get too cool and then add them and then it kind of starts solidifying on you. You want to get those oils mixed in there very well and combined. So I'm going to bring you back when it cools down. And also you're going to want to have a container. This is a large amount. This actually has ended up to be in 2 cups, a 16-ounce thing of what's going to be our balm. Now, I'm just going to use the same jar I used before with his other, because, why not? And you can actually put this in different jars. You can make like 2 batches of 8-ounce jars, or you can make 4 batches, or not 4 batches, but 4 containers of 4-ounce balms. And you can keep these and you can share them with your friends and family, or you can sell them. It's whatever you want to do. But I just use them for my youngin for right now, and I'm not really making this for anybody else because nobody else has requested it yet. I'm going to just pour it into this mason jar, and I just wiped what little bit was left in there out. That's why you still see the film around it. It's going to be used pretty quick, so I'm not too worried about it. But this is one of those country classic mason jars, perfect for this. And then I use one of these lids here because they're just more easier to, maneuver with. And then I label it Colt Skin Relief Balm, Halal Yahuwah. I always put Halal Yahuwah's healing kuak, his healing power, into all of these remedies that I make for my youngins, my family, my friends, and those I don't even know that request the help. So I'll bring you back when it's time to add the essential oils and the vitamin E oil, and then we'll pour it. All right, we're ready to ready to add the essential oils and the vitamin E oil. Now it's to the point where I can actually keep my hand on it to a point where I don't have to just jerk it off. It's still a little warm, but I'm going to stick my temperature gun. It says it's 143, 129. It's in that area. So we're going to go ahead and put our vitamin E oil in there. And let's see, what do I have down here? Usually I don't measure my vitamin E. I just put vitamin E. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do this in squeezes. That's the way I do. So we're going to just put 1 big squeeze, okay? Here we go. And that's probably going to be equivalent to about a teaspoon. So if you want a measurement, 1 teaspoon of vitamin E oil. And we're going to mix that in. And just stir that in really, 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 really well. Okay. Next, we're going to add 40 drops of the peppermint essential oil. Then we're going to add, let's see. Alright, then we're going to add 30 drops of our lavender. And then we're going to add 15 drops of our tea tree. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and do that, and I'll come right back once I've got them in there and combined. Alright, we've got all our essential oils and our vitamin E in there. And you're going to want to stir the hound out of it, but don't go too stupid with it. Don't go too fast. Just stir it. But you're going to want to get it well combined in there, okay? So stir for at least a minute. And then, because it's already starting to solidify, you see that ring right there around it? You're going to want it to get it into your containers pretty quick. So stir for about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. Just, once it's really, really well combined in there. Next, it's time to pour it into your container. Do not pour fast, pour slow, because you can spill this. Pour slow. Not too slow where it's going to drip out and all that, but pour slow enough where it's going to make sense to just go into your container. And it looks like I might have a little bit more than what I bargained for. Nope, it's going to be just right to the top of it. Okay, all of this left over, get your spatula out and scrape it out and put it in there also. You do not want to waste none of that. And there you go, you've got it all in there, and you can clean the top of it off, like wipe around the top part where there's a little bit over with a paper towel or a rag, and you know, don't even let that go to waste. Kind of rub that into your skin just to, you know, put that on you, put that in your skin. I don't believe it's going to hurt you as long as you ain't allergic to anything that I have showed you. As long as you ain't allergic to anything with bees or lemon balm or plantain or lavender or any of the oils, the coconut oils or any of the oils or the butters, the aloe vera, the shea, the vitamin E, you know, and then the tea tree and the peppermint and the I think I said vitamin E. As long as you ain't allergic to none of those, this will be a wonderment to your skin. Now, I use it on his skin when he gets out of the shower, and this is really, he has eczema, but his eczema doesn't flare up all the time. It's just a here and there kind of thing. This is a new thing we're dealing with, and it's been going on for a few months now, which if you look into pityriasis rosea, it can last from a few weeks to a few months. They call it, you know, an outbreak, and it is an outbreak. It's an awful rash outbreak that's extremely itchy, and sometimes there's just no relief. I don't go to the doctor unless I'm absolutely about to die, okay? And I don't carry my youngin to the doctor for anything because we just don't get sick. The kidney stones for me was something different. You know, I had no idea. I went to the doctor, he sent me to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. I'm taking my herbs, and I know they've been moving, and I truly believe they've been dissolving with the herbs I'm taking for that. So just take care of yourself as best as you can with herbs, with natural remedies that Yahweh has given us to make for ourselves, our Creator. But anyway, I will tell you this. His rash got so bad because I didn't know what I was dealing with. And then I figured it out, what I was dealing with, and took him to the doctor. And the doctor gave him a cortisone shot because his legs and his arms were just so itchy, and he had been scratching so much, and I couldn't get it under control. That was before I actually made this. I gave him all kinds of herbs and made skin balms and all this and that, but they just didn't seem to help. This is a new formula I've come up with within, I'd say, a month now. And yeah, right at a month, because I've got it dated down here. So he has had a few cortisone shots about 3 weeks to a month apart, just to get him out of the itchy stages where he doesn't scratch all the time, and he should be coming out of this rash, this mess. Is coming to the time where he should be done with it. But this balm right here, this relief balm, skin relief balm, is wonderful to put on eczema, especially when you get out of the shower and your skin's still moist. You put this balm on and it just goes on so smooth. Now it's going to take this a while to solidify because it's in a 16-ounce pint jar. If you put it in smaller jars, it won't take it that long. But you ain't going to want to disturb this for a while. You're going to want to let it sit for several hours. You can stick this in the refrigerator if you want to, and that's fine. You can actually keep it in the refrigerator, and when you get it out, it's got a cooler touch to it when you put it on the skin. Or you can leave it at room temperature. It's alright, because the beeswax helps to solidify it. But it is wonderful for the skin, for any kind of skin situation, because of the shea in it, because of the aloe vera in it, and the plantain, and the lavender, and the lemon balm. You know, it's all wonderful stuff, and the vitamin E. Beeswax is wonderful within itself. So I wanted to just show y'all how I made this, so in case you need it for like your youngin' skin. Aloe vera is very safe. for the most part. You know, as long as, like I said, you're not allergic to it. Shea butter is wonderful. So looking at all these ingredients before you make this for yourself, and then make you a small batch. You don't have to do this large batch. You can make you a smaller batch. You can put 1 ounce of each of the oils and butters. And then you can just, you know, take away from the essential oils, just divide them down to what would be equivalent to 1 ounces of the rest of this. You can make it, you know, that small if you just want to try it. So I just wanted to share this with y'all. I'm gonna quit rambling on so I can get busy doing other things here at the house and on the farm. But I really want to help others, and I don't want to keep wonderful things to myself. I want to share this with others so others can do this for themselves too. So if you end up trying this, let me know how it works out. You know, let me know. If you have dry skin, like I said, dry skin, eczema, itchy skin, anything like that, this is going to be really soothing and healing for your skin. Okay, that's what I've got. I'm going to let this solidify, like I said, and you don't want to cap it while it's still warm. You want the whole thing cool. Don't ever cap it when it's still warm. It's actually, just because it solidifies on the top now, you can see, does not mean that it is solidified all the way through. It's still very warm to the touch. That's one of the reasons you want to let it sit for a few hours. You know, you don't want to put your cap on, because then your cap can cause condensation, and there you go with putting water into your salves and balms. That's not a top thing at all. Okay, so do not cap it until it is completely cooled off, solidified and cooled off. And then there you go. And it is safe to use several times throughout the day. It is wonderful to use after a shower. It is wonderful to use any time of the day. And if you need to like moisturize your skin, kind of just you know, spritz it with water, and then rub that water down where it's not running off your skin. It's just kind of moistening your skin, and then put this on top of that. That's even better, even more soothing. So this is wonderful for as many uses as you need throughout the day. All right, I'm going to get off of here. Shalom from Hilltop Holler, as always, y'all. And halal Yahuwah. Shalom, Mishpachah.